Hi everyone, Ashley here with the Love and Light School. Blessed Beltane to everyone, blessed May Day. I am changing up our plans just a little bit last minute here and decided to try and do tonight's event outside. So I'm hoping that my internet will cooperate. If you happen to come on and you see that there is any issue with my connection, please let me know and I will make sure to switch things up and I might have to go inside and do things then. So welcome everyone. This is my first time sort of doing a live in this fashion. I'm hoping that it will work out okay and I'm so excited to have everyone here. So we are going to just do a few simple things for this little celebration and get together tonight. I thought we would do this little virtual gathering and just really celebrate the essence of the beginning of summer and the rejuvenation and renewal of the land as the sun returns, warms everything up, everything's bursting forth into life. And this is one of my favorite times of year, so I am so excited. I see lots of you sort of popping in. If you want to drop a little hello in the comments and let me know how you're doing today, what crystals you've brought with you for the event, just a recap, some supplies that you'll need for our celebration tonight are some crystals, some flowers, they can be fresh flowers or dried flowers, and a candle. So I have my supplies here and I'm doing this on my phone because I thought it would be a little bit easier to go back and forth. So I have a little handful of crystals here. I have my candle and a box of matches. And I have some flowers that I've gathered from my yard. I have some violets and apple blossoms, dandelions, some tulips. There's some bluebells here, a celadon poppy, some hellebore back there. There's a tulip there, and there's some uvularia, which is this nice yellow one. There is some candy tuft or iberis, and I brought an apple branch as well. So I love this time of year, especially when all the apple trees sort of burst forth into bloom. They make me so happy. Just they have this essence of sweetness and life that just really sort of makes me feel happy and alive. So I thought we would start by talking a little bit about May Day to begin, about Beltane, and then we'll go into a really quick little celebration ritual. So yeah, whatever materials you have, a few crystals, a candle, and some flowers, fresh or dried or whatever you have, just that good representation of everything bursting forth into bloom. So why Beltane? Why May Day? So Beltane is one of the 4 Celtic fire festivals, and it was traditionally celebrated mostly in Ireland and Scotland. Really, like that area, that region is where Beltane really comes from. It's also Beltane, and so Beltane is in modern day celebrated on the 1st of May, usually from May Eve, which would start at about sundown on April 30th until sundown on May 1st, on May Day. Sorry if you can hear my neighbor's dogs barking. So what is important to know is that although we celebrate this now on May 1st, we really need to think about how it falls in the calendar. And my chickens are going to come over here as well. This is going to be an interesting live, everybody. So I'll show you Ripley chicken who has come. Don't eat that, Ripley. Hello, Rippers. Don't eat the candle, Mama. So if I'm fighting off my chicken for a minute in the background, apologies. They get super curious and they always want to know what's going on. So I'm Sorry, I'm laughing so hard. This is just like the perils of doing an outside event, right? So thank you all for your patience. So if we really think about Beltane and we think about where it falls in the calendar, it's halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. And so the true midpoint for that day will be about May 4th. This year, because it always depends on when those dates fall. So May 4th this year. So although many folks start their celebration today or even a few days ago, if you're basing your celebration off the lunar calendar rather than the solar calendar, we can celebrate well into the month of May. This is the beginning, the kicking off of the season, not necessarily one special point or moment in time. So if you're watching this later, or if you can't participate in the little ritual celebration until later, I just want you to know that's okay. This isn't about, trying to find the perfect moment in time. We are just appreciating those energies that are sort of at their peak right now, that are really just present and surrounding us, and that's what this is all about. So Beltane was traditionally, again, celebrated in Ireland, Scotland, and it was often a time of joyous celebration. It was a time of celebrating fertility, mainly the fertility of the land. This is when the grass has greened again, animals were put out to pasture, and it was really something special to celebrate. The land was warm enough that seeds could be sown, and so there's so much that becomes available to people when things are lush and verdant and just sort of exploding with life. And so this is something that would garner community celebration. This wasn't necessarily just, for an individual or done in small family groups or friend groups. This was truly a time for community gathering, community celebration, bringing everyone together across a village, a town. And there were some really special customs that happened at the time of Beltane. So one of the things that would happen is everyone in an entire village or town, and there's good historical record for this, would extinguish their hearth fires, because back when these celebrations, especially like an agricultural type celebration like this day, back when these celebrations started, when they began, everyone had their own hearth fire, and tending that hearth fire was imperative for survival. You didn't want to let that fire go out in the winter because it provided warmth. That was your cooking fire. It was everything. It was so important. And so we see this coming together of the community to extinguish the hearth fire. Everyone would extinguish their hearth fire, and there would be a large communal bonfire lit, usually near a holy well, a sacred well, near a spring, near a hill or mound, because they were thought to be the homes of the good neighbors, of the fae, the fair folk. And so these big bonfires would be lit, and there would be sort of this raucous celebration of creating this new fire, bringing in this new energy. And when this would happen, everyone would take a bit of that fire back home, back to their own hearth, to bring in good luck. This fire was also very cleansing and purifying, as things are starting fresh and new and really becoming so powerful and so full of life right now. That need for that new beginning was incredibly important. And I'm still fighting a chicken over here, sorry. And so we see this community celebration where everyone comes together to participate, and that fire would bring luck, would bring cleansing, would bring health and healing from the center of the community into the individual home. And so largely one thing we're going to do in our little celebration today is create our communal fire virtually, and then we'll all sort of participate and share in that fire, in the magic, the cleansing, the healing, and the luck bringing of that fire. So this is one of the things we will do. The other thing we're going to do is incorporate flowers, because this is the time when all of these things are blooming, are bursting forth. They are representative of fertility. They are literally, you know, the reproductive parts of the plants. And so by bringing these flowers into our ceremony, our ritual, our celebration, we are bringing in that fertility of ideas. We are bringing forth that idea of abundance, of hope, things that are yet to come. These apple blossoms at this time of year are just flowers, but later in the year, they will become the fruit of the apple tree. So this represents hope for abundance, for prosperity, for nourishment. So we are going to incorporate some flowers as well. And then finally, we're going to incorporate some crystals tonight, because I love crystals, but also because crystals are tangible. We can hold them and feel them, ground into their energy, and they really are magical ways to connect with the earth. So we're going to bring that earth energy in to ground our celebration, to ground our ritual into being. So I am going to switch my camera view and we will get started together. And welcome, if you're just popping in, hello, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Grab your candle, your matches or your lighter, your flowers, your few crystals, and we will get started. Okay, so what I'd like us to all do here, and I'm going to try to do this with one hand while I hold my phone. I'm going to just create a nice little space for my candle. So I'd like you to place your candle somewhere stable, somewhere centrally located, where you can sort of reach it comfortably and easily. I'm working with a dressed candle here, so mine has some lavender flower, some soda light chips, some amethyst chips, some calendula, but you can work with any candle. It doesn't have to be a tea light candle if you have more of a tall, skinny light. Oh, okay, I thought I lost everyone. Sorry about that. If you have a tall, skinny spell candle, that's just fine too. Apologies that I lost you there. So whatever candle you have is just fine. And then you want to have your flowers and your crystals. So one of the other things that was a traditional Beltane custom was to gather flowers, especially yellow flowers, and create wreaths and garlands that would be brought in the house, that would be used to decorate the home and the hearth. And this was called going a Maying. And so you would go out on the 1st of May or on May Eve, you would go out into the woods and celebrate and gather all these beautiful things that are bursting forth into life, and you would bring them into your house. You would maybe create a large wreath for your front door, or a wreath to hang around the necks of your livestock or your animals, again, for luck, for protection, for healing. So what we are going to do around our candle with our flowers is we are going to create a circle of them representing a wreath of flowers. So this doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Do your best. All my flowers are a little bit different shapes and sizes here. So I'm just going to sort of work with them as best I can to create a circle of flowers around my candle. And this is again going to be representative of that protective wreath that represented luck and healing. So if you'd like to start just sort of shaping your flowers into a loose circle around your candle in the best way that you can, And I'm going to sort of just intertwine these, and again, just do your best. If some of your flowers are really large like this, you may want to work with just the petals instead. That is okay. So if you want to incorporate some petals in there and just arrange them in a way that, you know, feels vibrant and beautiful and lush and makes you really feel the excitement of May, of Beltane, bringing in these energies. And this doesn't have to be a very large circle. Bringing in all these beautiful, vibrant colors. It's so nice to see all of this color sort of return to the land this time of year. I know I have missed it so much, and I'm sure you have too. Maybe I'll just pop in a few more little apple blossoms from my branch here. Ooh, and the bumblebees are very much enjoying the fragrance of all these flowers. Hello, bee friend. There's a little bee friend hanging out here. So once you have all of your flowers in this symbol of the wreath, we have two important Beltane symbols here. We have our garland of flowers, our wreath of flowers for healing, for protection. And we have our candle, which is going to represent our Beltane bonfire. This is our community, our virtual community fire. And we are going to light the flames of this fire in just a moment. But before we do, I'd also like to invite you to incorporate your crystals into this beautiful wreath. And you can do this in whatever way suits you. If you have little towers, you could stand them up. You could point them in toward the fire to like call all this Beltane energy, all this fresh energy into that fire. You can point them outward if they have a point to send the energy of that Beltane fire out to others in your community. You can incorporate these into your ring of flowers, into your wreath to ground that energy in. But whatever you choose, just incorporate all of the crystals sort of in the same way. So I'm going to put mine right into my Beltane floral wreath. And because mine do have points, I'm going to put all the points in the same direction. And I am doing them in an anti-clockwise direction because I want to sort of send this energy out. If you wanted to call something in particular in, you might want to put them in a clockwise direction. So once you have your crystals, your flowers, creating this sort of wreath, and you have your candle in the center, I want to invite you to light your candle. But before you do, if you want to take a moment to just hover your hands over this wreath of flowers and crystals and set an intention for this season of Beltane, because remember, it's a full season, not just a single day. So we are going to be entering into this space, entering into this magical energy for the next 6 weeks from now until the time of the summer solstice. So what intentions would you like to set around fertility, love, sensuality, hope, creativity, all of those things that are associated with Beltane? And just sort of hold your hands over your Beltane wreath and send that feeling, that energy that you'd like to cultivate into that candle. And if you'd like to speak a few words out loud, like an affirmation, an intention statement, a spell, anything like that, I invite you to do that. And when you feel ready, you can take your matches or your lighter and light your candle. And remember, this is just one flame in our community fire, in our virtual community fire. with all of us participating in keeping this flame, tending this flame. And if you'd like to offer any words, thoughts, feelings, prayers, intentions, spells for the greater community at large, calling in those feelings of hope and love that are so entwined with the Beltane season, I'd like to invite you to do that now. Prayers for our community, and take a moment to just breathe here. Feel that connection between your flame and the flame here and the flame of everyone who is participating. As we anchor this energy, this hope, this wish into the earth through our crystals, feeling those crystals become charged up and activated with this magic and energy of Beltane. And if you'd like to share what your prayer, your intention, your wish for this Beltane season is in the comments, I would love to invite you to do that. I'm praying for community healing, for hope and resilience, especially for those who need it most right now, who are fighting and facing oppression, I call on strength and healing for those who need it, who have been suffering. And I call on my community to care for one another, to love one another, to watch out for one another and take care of each other. And I want you to envision in your mind's eye. You can close your eyes if this is helpful. And envision this flame connecting all of us in this communal Beltane fire that we are cultivating. This flame of hope and resilience, healing, kindness, love, patience, and community. And visualize each of our individual flames all around the world coming together into one communal fire, burning bright with all of our hopes, intentions, wishes, and prayers. And then slowly separating apart, going back to our individual hearths, our individual spaces, to act as a light in our own communities. And feeling this connection to the Beltane season and all of these intentions anchored in your crystals, which are part of our Beltane wreath, our Beltane fire. And you're welcome to let your candle continue to burn, of course with supervision in a safe place, until it burns all the way down. You're also welcome to extinguish your candle if you would like to do so. And if you've extinguished your candle, know that this candle contains that intention, that magic, and you can relight this candle anytime you want to call upon that energy, anytime you need to embody the energy of that intention that you set. That hope, that healing, that creative force, that love that this season is all about. So you're welcome to keep that candle. And I also want to invite you, before you dismantle your floral and crystal wreath, to place your sending hand, that's your dominant hand, so the one you write with, inside the circle. And there was an old tradition, an old custom of people passing their body through a floral wreath, through an herbal wreath, through that circle of lush, verdant greenery and growth for healing. And so if you'd like to just invite any healing that you need in this moment to come from your Beltane circle, your Beltane wreath, into your body through that sending hand, and then switching to that receiving hand or non-dominant hand. And when you feel ready, you can either leave this in place, or you can dismantle your Beltane circle, your Beltane wreath, by removing just the crystals to begin. So I'm going to remove my crystals, which again are now charged with that Beltane energy. So they've been charged up with that energy. And you can place those crystals on your altar this season. You can work with them in whatever way you wish. And you can either leave your flowers in place as an offering, or if you would like, I would invite you to take one or a few or all of them and press them and dry them, especially if they are fresh. In some way, preserve them. And I apologize that it keeps freezing. I think I'm a little too far from my internet here. But incorporate these into a spell jar, incorporate these into an art piece, into your journal. Keep them in some way as a talisman of what we created here together today, or leave them in place as an offering, whatever you're most feeling. I think I will leave mine in place as an offering, but I'll take this beautiful little purple violet because these are my absolute favorite, and I will press this and use it in my journal to sort of document the intention and magic that we've created today. So I want to thank you so much for coming to this very informal little gathering to celebrate Beltane. I appreciate your patience as I chased away chickens and dealt with a freezing internet, the perils again of doing things outside. But it just felt so right in my heart for this event to take place in connection with the land, in connection with nature. And so I'd like to invite everyone to just take a moment to send some gratitude from your heart to your crystals, to your flowers, to the land that you live on, the lands that you occupy, and just say thank you for supporting and nurturing me, for supporting and nurturing this community. I'm so grateful to the spirit of the land. I'm so grateful to the energies of my crystals and my flowers who supported in this celebration today, and to this magic making. So thank you everyone so much for being here. If you have anything else that you would like to share, I am happy to take some time for connection and sharing. And I'd love to hear about what crystals you incorporated, what flowers you used. These apple blossoms smell so good. Their fragrance is just exactly what I think of when I think of spring. They really remind me of my childhood climbing up the apple trees in my grandma and grandpa's backyard. They smell amazing. So I hope this helped bring you a bit of peace, a bit of healing, a bit of hope in times that feel a bit heavy and dark and very much without those things. I know it's been a hard few months on top of a hard few years for so many, and I'm grateful to everyone for coming together and holding space to capture the magic of this day, the magic of this hope in our hearts, to share with one another, to share with our communities at large. I am so grateful for you, and until I see you again, crystal blessings. Good night.